It's now time for your favorite in-depth basketball show, Full Court Press, with the myth, the legend, Raindrops Goulet!
Welcome to Full Court Press. This is episode number 5, numero 5. We made it to 5. This is a milestone, guys. I'm really excited for this one. And since it's episode 5, I think I'm finally going to do this for you. I'm going to reveal the meaning behind the nickname Raindrops. That's right, myself, Justin Raindrops Goulet. You finally get to find out what that middle name means, what that nickname Raindrops actually means to me. It's not that amazing of a story, but I got to share it with you guys because I've been teasing it in episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've also got an interview on this episode with D-Pryde. He's a rapper, so I want to talk about the mix between music and basketball, how those two worlds collide, and they fit together perfectly. It's amazing to see the combination of those two worlds and what they produce. A lot of fun stuff. Of course, we're going to talk about March Madness. We got the Final Four set in stone, talk about the NBL playoffs, and look at the NBA. Now let's get right into it. You all know I'm a huge Raptors fan. I love the Toronto Raptors. I love the city of Toronto. I love Toronto and Canada basketball. So the Toronto Raptors, they're not just my favorite team in the sport of basketball, but in all sports in general. I love the Toronto Raptors. And as of Friday, March 28th, we're in the playoffs. We're back in the playoffs, and I'm so excited. This is the first time the Raptors are going to the playoffs since 2008. And get this is crazy. Only 5 guys from that 2008 roster are still in the NBA. Figured it's fitting. Episode number 5, 5 guys from that roster are still in the league. That's Chris Bosh, Andrea Bargnani, Jose Calderon, Carlos Delfino, and Chris Humphries. And DeMar DeRozan was still in high school. He was a high school senior at Compton High the last time the Raptors made the postseason back in 2008. That's crazy. Now, the Raptors clinched their playoff spot, like I said, on Friday, March 28th, and I was super lucky to actually be at the game at the ACC. An early birthday present. I went with my best friend, Paul. Me and Paul grew up together, grew up playing basketball. He was always the Steve Nash to my Dirk Nowitzki. I think that's a fair comparison. My best friend, what an experience. It was the first Raptors game we went to together. It's my 3rd game of the season, my 10th game of all time, my 3rd win in a row. And that's even more special. It's even crazier that I get to see them win 3 times in a row because up to that point, before this season, I had been to 7 games. I was 0-7. I had never, ever seen the Raptors win, but that all changed in December of last year when I saw them take on the New York Knicks. It was Andrea Bargnani's return to the Air Canada Centre. He got booed out of the building. An amazing game. It was great to finally see them win. And then I go to Drake night a few weeks later. Great time. Drake was in the building. They defeated the Brooklyn Nets, and then on Friday, March 28th, they took down the Boston Celtics to clinch themselves a playoff spot. And let me tell you about this game. The most intense live basketball experience I've ever had watching the game as a fan. Super close, super tight matchup, tied at 103 with about 9 or 8 seconds left. Kyle Lowry drives in the lane, misses the layup. And you know what, in the movies and TV shows, when time stops and it slows down, it goes in slow motion? That actually happened. Because he missed that layup, and I was like, oh no, Celtics are going to get the ball. They're going to score the winning basket. It's going to be a heartbreaking loss, and I'm going to see them lose again live. I don't want to deal with that. Kyle Lowry drives in the lane, and there's the savior. He misses the layup. Amir Johnson out of nowhere grabs the offensive board, falls back. He's fading. Like I said, slow motion. He's fading. Throws the ball off the glass nice and light. Soft touch. Bam, it's in. The crowd goes wild. But you see the Toronto Raptors all cool, calm, and collected. They just get back on defense. They're all set up. Celtics call a timeout, of course. There's about 7 seconds left in the game at that point. Celtics inbound the ball on the other end of the court. And then the Raptors, great defense. They foul the Boston Celtics to stop the game, and there's about 3 seconds left. So Celtics call another timeout, then they inbound the ball again. It's their turn, their chance to shine and to pick up the win. They get it to Jared Sullinger. He misses the game-winning shot, and that's when the crowd really goes wild. It was absolutely amazing. Such a great sight to see the Toronto Raptors pick up the victory and clinch the playoffs for the first time going to the postseason since 2008. It's great to experience that amazing moment with my best friend. A lot of fun. He actually said before the game that he wanted to see a nail biter. And guess what, Paul? You got a nail biter. Final score was 105-103. It was unbelievable. I'm so proud of everything the Raptors have accomplished this year, and I can't wait to see how they do in the postseason. Hopefully move on to the second round. And hey, who knows? maybe we'll make it to the NBA Finals. I don't know if that's going to happen this year because the Indiana Pacers and Miami Heat are very powerful, but crazier things have happened in the past. There's still 9 games left for the Toronto Raptors, like most teams, about 9 or 10 games left on the year. And even with the clinch, even with that playoff spot secured, they still need to keep winning because you want to secure that spot in the postseason. They're in 3rd place right now. The Chicago Bulls are in 4th. The Bulls are only 1 game behind the Raptors in the Eastern Conference. You look at the Brooklyn Nets, Toronto's Atlantic Division rival, they're only 2.5 games back. So you have these teams behind you. They could overtake your spot. Even though you've clinched the playoff spot, you can still drop a bit in the standings. You're going to the postseason, but the big thing is you want to keep on winning so you have home court advantage. So you could play in front of your hometown fans, and they could rally behind you, and you can move on to the next round. That's the biggest goal, get that home court advantage. Of course, best of luck to all the teams that will be in the postseason. And the Toronto Raptors, shout out to you guys. Congratulations on making it to the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Now let's shift over to the future pros. NCAA March Madness. It just goes by so fast, you guys. The Final Four, it's set. How does your bracket look? The most obvious choice to win the NCAA March Madness tournament is the Florida Gators. An outstanding regular season. They've blazed through this tournament. But there are some slight surprises in the Final Four. We've got 7th place Connecticut taking on the Florida Gators, and then the 8th place Kentucky Wildcats are challenging the 2nd place Wisconsin Badgers. So let's take it back real quick, take a few steps back, and look at the results of the Elite 8 round. First place Florida defeated Dayton, the underdogs of this tournament, the darlings Dayton. So many surprises, clutch wins, but they couldn't get past Florida. Final score of that matchup was 62-52. 7th place Connecticut defeated Michigan State 60-54. Connecticut beat Michigan 75-72. Now, Michigan, a lot of people were saying Michigan would make it to the finals. But, of course, that wasn't meant to be. Kentucky is going to the Final Four instead of Michigan. And Wisconsin beat Arizona 64-63. Heartbreaking loss. And I was just looking up this story. After that loss, there was a bunch of students that started rioting after Arizona fell to the Wisconsin Badgers. It's like, man, even if your team loses, I don't get the point of rioting. You're not, that just makes your city... That just makes your team look bad. Just if your team loses, you could be super upset. You could be ticked off. Go into your basement. Go into your bedroom. Punch a pillow or something. Don't go riot in the streets. People get hurt. Just don't do it. It's not cool, and it looks bad on you and your team. So now we have the Final Four all set, and with the run they've been on, with the success they've had in the regular season, I gotta say I think it's the Florida Gators. I think it's their year. I think they have a good chance at pulling this off, but as you all know, and as we've seen many times in the tournament this year, surprises, they do happen. But what we know for sure is that on Monday, April 7th, we're going to have ourselves new NCAA basketball champions. A lot of exciting stuff. Speaking of champions, the NBL, the National Basketball League of Canada, the Island Storm, they're going to the finals. And guess what, folks? If you've been listening to all the episodes of Full Court Press, you know that I called it. The Island Storm are going to the finals. And to quote Daniel Bryan, yes, yes, yes. It feels so good to be right about that, to have predicted one of the teams going to the finals. It feels great. Kudos to the Island Storm for making it all the way. Now, by the time you hear this, they're either going to be facing the Windsor Express or the London Lightning. Now, again, I'm sticking with my prediction and saying it's going to be a Windsor Island matchup. I think the Express are going to dethrone the reigning champion London Lightning. So as I said, congratulations to the Island Storm for going the distance and reaching the NBL Finals, and good luck to either the Express and the London Lightning. We'll see who makes it to the final round. And get this, it's just been announced. NBL All-Star Weekend is almost here. It's happening. It takes place the weekend of April 19th in Charlottetown, PEI. And like the NBA, we're going to have a three-point shootout, a dunk contest, and of course the All-Star Game itself. And this is something really interesting. Season awards are going to be handed out over the course of that weekend, so it's a big extravaganza. If you're in the area, check it out. I'm really excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. We'll try to talk more about the All-Star Weekend as it approaches. Now, before you guys get to hear from D-Pryde, I want to talk music and basketball. Music and basketball, they seem like two different worlds. But when you think of it, they're very similar, and they go hand in hand. When I'm going out to take shots, when I'm going to play basketball with my buddies, if we got music going, you just get into a zone. Even if I'm just shooting around by myself, I plug my headphones in, click on a good song to play, lace up my sneakers, and I'm all good to go. I could play for hours nonstop and not get tired because you have that music that just fuels you. Music and basketball work so well together, and it's amazing to see those two worlds. Music motivates you. It keeps you inspired. It keeps you going. You have a random song that you hear, and it could just take you back to a moment when you first started playing basketball. Or I have some songs that I haven't heard in a long time. I hear them, and it brings me straight back to winning provincials when I played for the Oakville Vipers in the Select League. And it's unbelievable. I love listening to music when I'm playing basketball. If your team is down and you're trying to gather your thoughts, you're down, you think the game's over, you just hear the music playing over the intercom, over the speaker system, bam, you're good to go. And a comeback, it's not that surprising because you got that extra motivation. Music is getting you going. Now this weekend, I got back into a TV show, my favorite TV show of all time. It's One Tree Hill. It's my favorite show of all time, and you talk about music and basketball. Music is such an integral part to that show, and so is basketball. That show is all about romance, drama, basketball, music, amazing characters, a lot of fun to watch. I suggest you guys watch One Tree Hill. Great music. Like I said, a lot of the songs I have on my iPod, I actually heard for the first time on One Tree Hill, and I listen to those songs when I play basketball. So it all connects. See, that's how it all works out on Full Court Press. Correlation. I love it. So speaking of things that I love, D-Pryde's music is amazing. You guys should check it out. He's got a YouTube page. He's got Instagram and Twitter. Check D-Pryde out. Right now, speaking of D-Pryde, we've got an interview with him right here on Full Court Press. So let's throw it over to Mr. D-Pryde. This is Justin Goulet, and I'm here with D-Pryde, Brampton's very own Pride and Joy. How's it going, man?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm great. I hate the weather outside, but I'm awesome.
It sure is a cold one. Now, you were born in Mississauga. Were you raised? Were you raised in the area?
No, not at all. I moved to Brampton earlier in my childhood.
Okay, so you grew up. So you grew up mainly in Brampton, then?
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Now,
shout out to Brampton. Yay! 905 all the way.
Now, D-Pryde, I want to ask you, how did you get into music? What was the first moment?
My first moment was my mom bought an Eminem CD for me when I was 8 or 9 years old. I think by accident, and it was the dirty version. So I was like, oh, I'm getting the full thing now. And all of a sudden, I started listening to it. The first song I ever listened to was Without Me, and it turned into me liking music in general. That was the first kind of music piece I ever had, besides all the classical stuff my mom had around the house I never paid attention to. And then all of a sudden, I started mimicking Eminem until I was 15, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start rapping. And I started it at 15, started as a job at 16, got signed at 16, and proceeded from there.
Wow, so how did you go about getting signed? How does that whole process work? Because you just start rapping. Mm-hmm. Who do you have to meet? What are the connections you have to make?
It was
to
all
get into
YouTube.
The business?
It was all YouTube at the end of the day. Everything, all the work was viral.
Okay.
So I tried my I tried I tried my best at being the realist I could be on camera, and just recording every aspect of my life. And it popped up, and kids liked it. So I just tried my best to entertain them every week, and then off that, I scored a record deal.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it was a good amount of hard work and luck at the same time.
Was it always rap, or did you ever think of going into another genre?
No, it was always rap. And then actually, when I got the deal, I kind of wanted to switch it up. So at around 17, I started singing, and then I kind of mastered that too, and I created a voice for myself, which is great because I'm at a good versatile standpoint of rapping and singing at the same time.
It's definitely a good mix. Now, do you write your own lyrics?
Yeah, everything.
How do you go about doing that? What comes to mind when you write your lyrics?
I just do it. There's no crazy process. It's a good in 15 minutes type of thing. Everything. I mean, I rap and sing about everything that's going on in my life, which is very cliche to say as an artist, of course, but it just pops up. 15 minutes, it's done. It's everything real. So I mean, I live it every day. It's gonna just appear on.
It just shows
record.
up on paper, and then you turn it into the record. Now, you said you listen to Eminem first off. Is he the biggest influence when it comes to music?
Yeah, hugest influence. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I think a lot of up and coming rappers can say that. Personally, I love Eminem, so it's it's a really big deal. Any other artists that get you going, that get you motivated?
Drake, of course, being from Toronto. And I claim Toronto too, just because that's a central city for everybody. I really appreciate Drake. I really appreciate Chris Brown. Justin Bieber is a huge influence in terms of my singing. So yeah, I guess those four right now in rotation.
That's your Mount Rushmore right there of
Yes,
inspiration.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. The Mount Rushmore of artists.
Now you
artists.
started off in Canada. Are you still working in Canada, or have you moved
Yeah,
out?
I mean, I do a lot of. I come back here for vacation a lot, but vacation is never really vacation. When I come back, I do a lot of work. So, I do video work over here, but everything's in New York City, which
Okay.
is like my second home. So
That's where you're based out of. What label are you with?
Mars Music Group. It
Mars
started
Music?
with Baby J and Phil Chong.
Oh,
And,
wow.
I'm the first and only artist so far.
Wow,
on
that's
that
pretty
label,
cool. So you're the pioneer of that label.
Mhm, yeah,
You know?
they invested a lot of time.
Make it
into
big.
So
For
yeah.
sure. There you go. Are you a big basketball fan?
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm not. I'm a fan of the sport, not the NBA. Because I'm nothing against the NBA. I just don't watch basketball like that.
Okay.
But I used to play as a kid
Okay.
a lot, and
Yeah.
until I became a rapper, and then
There you
and
go.
then that totally switched.
And now here you are. Do you have any other plans to work with other organizations? Do you do like other community activities?
Oh yeah. I mean, anybody that really just isn't afraid to come and ask. Pretty much. I like doing everything around the city. Just do appearances here and there. At least for these kids, I like showing face.
Yeah, just
That's
be
a
a
great
good
thing.
good
Yes.
influence to the younger generation.
Yeah,
any
definitely.
big organizations that you have worked with in the past?
I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't. I'm just like not. Damn, that's crazy. I don't really like memorize promotional companies like that. I just like know the faces and names. So,
Well, that's
it's like,
that's
hey,
a good
buddy,
way.
yeah,
Good
that's about it.
memories with them. Now, what are you working on right now? Are you working on an album? What's going on now?
Yeah, I'm working on another project. I won't really say I'm not so sure of it right now, but I have another project in the works. I have 2 singles coming out like back to back. One's called Nightmare. That music video is coming out soon. The next one I actually directed and cut myself.
Oh, wow.
Called Proud. That's gonna be the last single on my new EP that came out in July, Canela Richvale. And they're both like highly like super anticipated records. I always check like the analytics of like the records and stuff, and those 2 records are like doing the most of downloads and relevance. So I had to do videos to both of them. So those 2 videos are coming out, and I'm in the works for this next project.
So a lot going on, a lot on the
Yeah,
move. Do
a
you
lot.
find it difficult balancing social life and your career, because you're still so young?
About I mean, I'm 20. You know, I'm super young. Like I said, these are the golden years of my life. I want to spend them doing something I love. I want to spend them, being as young as I can be and stupid as I can be through my job, and having fun and using that as an advantage to live out more experiences. And that's a great thing. Experiences are all a great thing. Whether they're learned by mistakes or whether they're learned by just having everything come at you subtly. I want to experience everything, of course, earlier and everything I can.
For sure, live life to the fullest,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Now, do you plan on making this, a career like in your later years, or do you
Oh,
want
of course.
do you want to get into behind the scenes, get into producing?
Actually, funny that you say that. I mean, I wanna have my hand in, like every cookie jar. You know what I'm saying? Every flavor there is. So like I said, like I started singing after I got my record deal, and I was
Okay.
like, hey, I got this. I got here by rap. Let me see what I could do with this whole singing thing. Started singing, mastered that, and of course, ever since I was like 14, I was cutting videos. I was like kind of getting into videos, and now that I'm doing like the video thing, I've gotten great pointers by a man named Rick Cordero, who's a phenomenal director. Did a lot of big names in the in the hip hop business for videos.
Okay.
And his producer, he taught me a lot in terms of like producing videos. So like I have my like kind of head into visual media, if you could say that. I have my head into that really, really well because my mentors are already they already have their hands into it. So I'm blessed with at least that, like a good role model I could look up to the point where like I can have my hand dipped into the cookie jar of music videos, and I also want to get into acting.
I was just
That's a
about to
crazy
ask
thing,
that,
yeah.
because there's a lot of artists these days. They're making
Yeah.
the crossover. They start off singing or
Yeah.
rapping, they move over to the big
Yeah,
screen.
I did like a little bit of theater
Okay.
when I was a kid, so like I just love the cameras. And on top of that, I love being in the spotlight. So everything I can do to just keep my relevance up, I would do.
Yeah, just to kind of
Yeah.
keep moving, stay in action.
Yeah.
Now I'm just kind of a wild card. What do you think of the state of rap these days? Because it's it's way different than it was in the '90s.
Everybody's taking it really, really negatively. My philosophy is that just like music has genres, rap has genres. We have I could give you two off the top of my head. We have conscious rap, and we have trap rap. You know, and there's way more than that, but those are two genres.
Okay, could you maybe explain those, conscious and trap rap?
Conscious rap is just like, what's going on at the moment, and if you feel like, if you feel conscious about something, if you're very like thoughtful, it's thoughtful rap. Meaningful rap.
Okay.
There's always meaningful rap. Everything has meaning, but conscious rap has like tons of meaning, and you're trying to prove such a point. As to like trap rap is like, I can't really say trap rap actually, because trap is meaningful too. Okay. I would say like, I guess swag rap. Swag rap is like the 60 BPM, like you go to the club, it's like the first thing you're bumping to.
Okay.
It's like repetitive choruses, very, very minimalist lyrics, and which I have no problem about, because you need that. You need your fine balance between conscious rap and your swag rap, because with the swag rap is like, that's everything you play in your car. It's everything the girls like. Girls love swag rap. I don't care what anybody says. Every woman loves a twerk song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like swag rap, twerk music, you know what I'm saying? Like that they're in the same genre. You know what I'm saying? And they both go off as this like ignorant sound in club, in the car, and you can't help but to bop to it. It's so current. It's so lively. It's young. Everybody wants to listen to that, which I have no problem about. A lot of people have a problem with swag rap though, because they think it shouldn't exist, but I feel that it should in terms of entertainment. You need that. You need to entertain yourself. You need the minimalist vibe. You need like easy to go lyrics. I can't remember so much at one point. Like I can't be rewinding a song every now and then. I want to listen to a song and jam out to it as much as I would like a pop song.
Exactly.
So it's good, and I feel like hip hop and pop are like now coming together, which is a great thing, because when you fuse genres, it's always great. Like a Jay-Z Linkin Park feel. I love when Jay-Z, fused with Linkin Park, because that gave everybody a different feel. It's just like when Justin Bieber does a song with Chance the Rapper, it gives you a huge feel. Like, oh man, they're fusing worlds together. So that's a great thing too. I think the state of hip hop right now is great. I have no problem with it.
Do you lean, like yourself with your work, do you lean more towards the other, or do you stay in a specific genre?
That's funny. I actually, I do both. I mean, I rap and sing, and then I'll sing and rap one day, the other day, like rap and sing one day, sing and rap the other day. I have my hand, like I said, in different cookie jars. So, I like switching it up. I like confusing people. Confusion is like the greatest thing, because it builds relevance. People are like, oh, I'm so confused about this. I gotta look more into it, and then they'll look more into like my discography and be like, so what is he?
Yeah.
What is he, a rapper? Is he a singer? And they'll just keep on trying to find it out, but it builds relevance to the point where like they're constantly trying to find out who I am, and they get glued and they turn into fans.
There you go.
So it's always
a perfect
a
setup.
thing.
Anything else you'd like to add, D-Pryde? Do you have Twitter, YouTube?
Yes.
Any of those you want to plug?
Definitely. The Twitter is at D-Prizzy, at D-P-R-I-Z-Z-Y. Instagram, of course, D-Pryde, D-P-R-Y-D-E, if you want to see selfies and all that stuff. And the YouTube page, if you ever want to check out, if I'm very new to you, it's D-Pryde Music, D-P-R-Y-D-E-M-U-S-I-C, D-Pryde Music. Go check that out.
D-Pryde Music. Now, one last question before we head out. How'd you come up with the name D-Pryde?
I'm gonna skim down a superstar. There's like a billion reasons. But I'll give you one of them. Well, basically, proud. Has always been a key word to my mom. Every time I leave the house, it's like, I'm proud of you. Ever since I was like little, my mom always wanted to be proud of me. So like, pride just kind of came from that. I kind of needed to switch it up because I didn't like the I in there. It looked super plain to me, so I switched the I, put a Y in there. And then the D comes from the word Duke, and primary meaning of that would be like the highest class of something, and I guess it's like in a form of royalty, like the Duke of Pride. So I'm the Duke of Pride, and that basically meaning I'm just like a higher class of being proud of yourself. I'm super confident. It's just building confidence, and my whole brand is about confidence. It's all about self-empowerment at the end of the day, and a lot of people don't have that. I was bullied in school countless times.
Yeah.
I've grown with people not liking me, and I'm in a business where people want to bash you all the time. People want to catch you slipping all the time. So I just got to keep my confidence up. I got to be proud of what I do. I always have to keep my pride in a positive way up. And yeah, that's about it. And another funny thing would be like D-Pryde. I'm D-Priding myself away from the negative thing. I always have to, as the rappers say, keep it real. So I have to remove the pride sense in myself, the negative.
Oh, for
sense
sure,
in it.
for sure.
So you're D-Priding yourself away from that.
Any quick words to people who, aspiring rappers out there?
Just be yourself. That's about it. That's all you really have to do, and everything will come.
Again, I want to thank D-Pryde for joining me on Full Court Press. It was a real pleasure to talk with him. As he mentioned, he's got YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Check it all out, you guys. And, of course, he was saying in the interview the meaning behind his nickname. So now it's that time you've all been waiting for. The meaning behind Justin Raindrops Goulet. Well, I went to Sheridan College, and at Sheridan, I played intramural basketball, of course. I gathered a bunch of guys from the program together, and we formed a team called the Anchormen. Now, the first day that we went to shoot around to kind of see where everyone would fit on the team, what their roles would be, see how good everyone was, and if they had any experience playing the game, I was shooting around, hitting some threes, and I was feeling really good. I was on a groove, knocking down shot after shot after shot. So my buddy Colin Van Owen, a shout out to you, Colin. Got some nice shout outs on the show. Shout out to my buddy Paul and Colin. So Colin Van Owen, he just started calling me Raindrops. He said, I'm making it rain. You're Raindrops, Justin Raindrops Goulet. So the nickname stuck throughout the entire season, my 2 years at Sheridan, and even when I still see my buddies from school, they call me Raindrops. They either call me Goulet or Raindrops. It just stuck. Probably one of my favorite nicknames I've ever had. And there you go. That's the meaning behind Raindrops Goulet. The mystery is solved. You're welcome, guys. I want to thank you all for listening to this episode of Full Court Press. As always, keep the basketball movement alive and strong. It's nice out. Springtime is here. Lace up your sneakers, grab your basketball, throw on a jersey, go outside and shoot some hoops. Like I said, keep basketball alive and strong. Keep the movement growing. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Full Court Press. And if you want to listen to some past episodes, don't forget, you can go to yourlisten.com. I've got the episodes there, and I'm trying out a new service coming soon. I want to try out a new website called mixcloud.com. So if you don't find the episodes on yourlisten.com, switch it over to mixcloud.com, and you should be able to find all the archived episodes right there. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you guys next week.
You've just been hit with Full Court Press. Courtesy of your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Raindrops Goulet.